Ew, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy, and this is the Nerdy review of Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, out now on Netflix. We get Nerdy Nightly, and we thought we'd share it with you. That is right. Welcome back to the channel. This time talking about the new Netflix series? Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, a 4-episode television show that Netflix dropped on Friday. I had the chance to sit down this evening and watch it all, and I have some thoughts, because I'm just confused by so many things.
You want to talk about it?
Let's start non-spoiler, though. I do not want to ruin this for you if you haven't seen it, although if you do stick around through the spoilers, it's hard to kind of spoil this, because I'm not going to lie, I did not love this series, particularly because I don't understand why it's a series. This was very much a movie. These episodes in no way felt like contained episodes. They didn't have unique plots or arcs within them. This was one story told over about a little over an hour and a half. And so I just don't really... I'm kind of baffled by the decision not to just make this a film. I found personally, because I sat through the entire thing straight through, that the episode breaks and the credits really interfered with a story that was trying to have a lot of pacing and a lot of momentum. From the moment Leon lands on the lawn of the White House, this story really wants to kind of take off like a cannon, and it wants to have this snowball effect where it just gets faster and faster and bigger as the plot unravels around our heroes. And by putting in the episode breaks where they did, I really felt like all of the tension of this story was just sapped out every single time. And it's not to say that it's a great story, honestly. It dives into a well that I feel like Resident Evil storytelling has dove into maybe a few too many times at this point, and it follows some tropes of Resident Evil storytelling that you kind of just see coming from a little bit too far off. So much so that there's times in this where the big reveals aren't even hidden when they're teased earlier in the series, movie, story, thing. The weird conglomerate of the two that this is. I don't know whose decision it was for it to be a series. I don't know if it was a Netflix mandate. I don't know if the storytellers saw this as a series. I don't know if maybe they wanted to put this out as a tease for a long-running show that will have future seasons that will maybe feel a little bit more episodic than this did. But overall, that part of it was just kind of blasé, unfortunately.
It's gotta be another outbreak.
I gotta go. Don't do anything stupid.
What did work for me, at least, was a lot of the ways in which the characters were animated. I thought the character models themselves were very fun. I thought the different bioweapons that are encountered throughout these 4 episodes were all really fun, and the fight sequences and the video game style ways that our lead character Leon gets in and out of those action sequences. The highlight being the second episode, with the low point coming in the third. Another time where if it had just been a movie and it hadn't been an episode, it had just been the continuous trajectory to the 4th episode, you wouldn't have felt that lull as much. Outside of our main characters, though, the animation for this is mostly fine. I've been on a real high with Resident Evil lately. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, I think, is absolutely one of the best, scary survival horror games I've ever played. Resident Evil 8 is a very fun action shooter that is just beautifully animated. And so to go from the animation of something like Resident Evil Village, and I know it's not the same teams, I know it's very different making a video game than making this. I know the amount of money put into Village is different than this. I know all of those things. But this is still the next Resident Evil thing to come out, and so it is hard not to compare it to how incredibly beautiful Village was, and in how incredibly detailed the backgrounds of every shot of Village felt, whereas this felt very much like our main characters, the center of our shots was very well animated, where the backgrounds, the bustling corridors weren't there, if you know what I mean. The world wasn't filled out in a way that I would have expected, considering where some of the locations... I mean, the opening fight sequence of this happens in the White House. You wouldn't really know it. There's maybe 4 or 5 people at a time in any hallway. Ultimately, I think that if you're a fan of Resident Evil, if you want to see Leon in some action sequences with some bioweapons, this might be an enjoyable experience for you. If you're hoping to see Claire Redfield in some fun action sequences doing things, she's technically in this. She is. She doesn't do anything, but she's there. She's wearing her red jacket. She's in it. I don't know why. I maybe to tease her being in the second season. I don't know, but if you want to see Leon do that stuff, it's fun, and it is fun. It is fun. It's not emotionally driven though. There's no emotional stakes for any characters. There's no connection that any characters has to what's going on besides having to survive because it's happening to them, and I think ultimately that makes it feel a little bit hollow. That hollowness makes it more difficult to forgive some of the sillier or less sensical things that happen off screen to allow the plot to continue. And so I just felt like I was left with a very middle of the road experience. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It just was, it was fine.
I will show you fear.
If you're a big fan of Resident Evil, maybe go check it out, or go play Village, or go play Biohazard. Those two games are incredible. They're so good. Definitely play Biohazard. If you haven't played Resident Evil 7, get on it. I said I was going to talk spoilers at the end. I don't really know what to talk about. There is the one period where a bunch of characters managed to get to one place at the same time, which was very confusing. Just like wildly confusing in terms of like the timeline of this story was super weird, and they don't really talk about how anyone gets there or like why. Quick spoilers if you've seen this, or go watch it and then come back and tell me what you think of this. Why is Claire Redfield at the end of this movie? Why did the guy bring her? He flew her to the other side of the world to have a quick conversation with her? Why? I genuinely, she was there and I was like, oh, okay, so we're still in DC. And then he's like, I've got to go upstairs to the signing of this peace accord in the fake country they made up. And I was like, wait, you flew her to... Why did you do that? Why would anyone do that? I don't know. Y'all, this was fine. It's like 2 hours. If you have 2 hours, this is a way to spend 2 hours. If you like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. If you don't like this video, hit the dislike button. Leave me comments down below. The algorithm gods are hungry, and we must feed her. As always, you can follow me over on Twitch, over at twitch.tv/nerdynightly. You might see me playing a Resident Evil game there. I'll probably be checking out Reverse when that drops later this summer. And as always, my name's Nerdy. Do something nerdy tonight. Bye.